62 years old, and I'm.
It's just giving very insecure. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you. Sorry, Buck. You're old and irrelevant. What's up, Rebels? My name is Leo, and I am one half of Leo and Willy. We are engaged. We are queer.
Yes! Queen! Slay!
And today I am doing an unexpected part 2 of reacting to none other than everyone's trampa, Buck Angel. Okay, let's get into it. So if you didn't see my last video, you want to go and check that out because I reacted to the first half of this video originally the last time I was here.
62 years old, and I'm.
It's just giving very insecure, I'm not gonna lie to you. So today I am back to address the second part of this video, and boy are we in for a treat. Just to get us back into the context of where we are in this video, Buck is currently complaining about puberty blockers. He just explained to him what the existence of gender specialists are, so we're on to a really great start. Very educational. I hope Buck is taking notes because there will be a quiz. Alright, but without any further ado, let's get into it. Gay agenda, gay agenda, gay agenda, gay agenda.
What does all this gender study thing even mean?
Going to be infertile. Oh my goodness, they might change their mind. You know, all of those things. And what's happening?
How dare you, lady? How dare you? How dare you? Oh, they might change their mind. A lot of these young people have changed their minds. Tons of them have changed their minds, and now they're literally scarred mentally and physically. You see, this lady does not care about these kids. She's really scary.
As a result of
She's really scary. I can't. Can we be serious, please? Can we be serious? I hate the way that he just is taking everything in these little out of context, little tiny segments in everything that she's saying. Like, she can't even finish her sentence, and yet we've had, like, multiple points from him that are just misquoting her and what she's trying to say. Like, you're saying things and you're responding to things that she's saying, but you're not actually responding to what she is saying. You're just making her words mean whatever you want it to mean so that you can be mad and old and annoying on the internet. Congratulations, you've accomplished that, but at what cost, Buck? At what cost?
A buck.
Come on.
There is no such thing as trans kids.
that's not been created by medics, it is in some way true. And the research backs it up that it's really important to give gender-affirming care to transgender children. And that's what's been stopped in this country. And all of those transgender children will now have to endure puberty when it could have been stopped. And then that the ramifications for those children in later life is that they will have endured puberty, they will always be identifiable as trans.
Oh,
Do you believe...
Okay, she just said it. She just said it. This is the only reason they're giving the puberty blockers to these kids is so that they are not identifiable as trans when they get older, okay? You see how mixed up this whole thing is? It's first you got the trans activists. Trans rights are human rights. We're trans. We identify as trans. We're trans identified. Then you got people like me who are like, I just want to walk the world as a dude. I went through full puberty. Don't you dare say I look like female. You know damn well. Okay, I may have small hands. I don't have an Adam's apple, but I pass 100%. It is possible to move forward in your life as a transsexual person by going through puberty. They just want to give these puberty blockers to kids for physical attributes. Do you realize how insane that is? So that they don't have physical attributes of a male or female. That's how twisted. Instead of trying to teach somebody to live in the body they were born with, sorry, you got it. It's just how it is. Let's work on your brain and try to help you do that. But instead, they'd like to take this 6-year-old, twist all their genetical whatever it is, and twist them and move them around for their weird experimental stuff so that they don't look like a boy or a girl when they're older and then no one can identify them as trans. It is actually one of the most twisted, insane arguments ever.
Okay, that was a lot, but I just wanted him to get his full rant out there so we could just take it all on at once. Okay, Bucky. Oh, Bucky boy, what are we gonna do with you? I do understand the sort of reaction to the language that this woman used of identifiable as trans. I don't think that was maybe like the best terminology that she could have used, but I do understand what she meant given the context. She's talking about the, help that puberty blockers can have in trans adults who have not had to go through a biological cis puberty that has been in line with their birth sex that then may cause further altercations to need to be done, or more intensive medical treatments to be made in order to medically transition and to pass. I think that's what she's talking about. And just given that like Buck is also bringing up passing and his ability to pass, which, to be clear, Buck, no one has addressed or challenged your ability to pass as a man. I don't really know why that had to be so like,
and I'm
I don't know, it was very defensive, and I don't really know what that was about, to be honest with you. I mean, we're talking about kids here. I don't really know what that had to do with you, Mr. Buck, Mr. Trampa. I think that that's just a bit of the side of this that I think a lot of this hints at, which is like the projection side of things, I mean, hey, we all deal with insecurities, we all deal with dysphoria, we all deal with all of those things as trans people, and I'm not trying to invalidate Mr. Buck's experience. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm not someone who's going to invalidate another trans person, regardless of how they view other trans people. I'm not going to then like subject them to that same sort of judgment and criticism just because I don't believe in it. So I won't stoop to your level, Buck. I hope that you work through these things and work through whatever that was, because it feels very, very intense. And I don't really know where that came out of in this moment. So maybe that speaks to something that you might want to work on in yourself, but that's not for this video. Let's get back to how much you hate trans kids, huh?
There's a reason why. Why do you think there are so many more children that want to transition, and it has grown sort of exponentially, particularly among girls, I understand.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Do you think there's any societal pressures, trends? Do you think there's anything in that? Or do you think this is innate in populations that we just never saw it before?
It's always been there. It's always been there. What we didn't have before, and as often happens in society, is we didn't have the language, we didn't have the understanding, we didn't have the acceptance, even though acceptance is reducing at the moment in the United Kingdom. And what's happened over the last 10 to 15 years is that we have words to describe it. We have medicines that we...
Okay, you know what? You're such a liar. Okay, we've had words to describe. How did I do this 30 years ago? Don't try it. It's been around for a long time, okay? Okay, so I was not a trans kid. I was just a little girl who was butch, and I never thought I was a dude. Okay, of course I wanted to be like the boys, and so my dad taught me how to stick with it and beat the boys, okay? And then not until I became an adult was I like literally trying to deal with this stuff, and I figured it out, and this was the best option for me. But how dare you say this because they didn't have the language? We've always had this language. You're the wingnuts who started calling kids trans.
Okay. I think that you're reaching a very important point, and you're almost there. So I'm going to help you along to get to it. Just a little bit of a push, okay? So you are absolutely right. You did not have the access to that sort of language when you were growing up. You thought, oh yeah, I'm just a bit of a, butch girl, and I just like to rock with the boys, and my dad was supportive of that, which is great, by the way. I'm glad that you had a supportive unit who, like, just kind of embraced that in you and supported you and taught you how to, handle it with the toughest stuff, and that's awesome. The thing is yes, language has existed for a long amount of time, but when we talk about we haven't had the language for that, when people say that, what they mean is that they haven't had widespread access to that language, to the people that could utilize it. Fuck you, Fridge. What people mean is not that these work terms and this way of defining things hasn't existed. It's that the access to that information hasn't been widespread. You are so fortunate to have had the upbringing that you had, to have the knowledge that you had, to have the access that you had when you had it. And I'm so glad for you that you have gone through your journey and come out with a ability to identify and live as yourself, as your true self. And that is always going to be a great thing for any trans person, in my opinion, as I believe. I know that you may not agree because we disagree, obviously, on who is and isn't trans, but that's the way that I see it.
Hold on, I'm going to bring up this next one here. Okay, you know how I love this guy, the body language expert. He's so awesome. So I found this video, which really, now I'm going to go into a trans parent, okay? So we're going to analyze a trans parent. And you're going to just see how the whole thing is manipulation. It's all false. And it's literally parents and doctors making these kids trans, okay? It's not the kids. It's the adults in the room.
So just to clarify what he's saying, because I heard that and I was a little bit confused, because when I hear trans parent, I think of a trans person who is a parent. But that's not what he means, to be very clear. What he is referring to is parents of children who are trans or trans-identified in some way. So cisgender parents, or just parents in general, who have children who are trans. That's who we are referring to in this segment, just to be very clear.
Just see how the whole thing is manipulation. It's all false. And it's literally parents and doctors making these kids trans, okay? It's not the kids. It's the adults in the room.
Okay, you're about to see the video of a mother of a trans son or a daughter,
Yeah.
who has a court date tomorrow for her name change. And yeah, it's a bit confusing, right? Because the first thing that I've noticed, like in the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years on the internet, is that it is hard to tell when something is parody or is real, or if people are doing this for clicks or for kicks and giggles or for clout or whatever. But this is the kind of things that's why I had to tweet, this degeneracy has to stop. I'm going to play the video so you can see her body language, which is the most important thing of this. And, well, of course, pay attention to the captions that are there to help you understand this insanity.
Tomorrow is my son's court date for his name change. I am so excited. I didn't even think to get like a personalized gift. Wow. I could kick myself. And so now I'm just like scrambling for ideas.
Gross.
You may just have to get something late. Anyway, I just want to share that. I know a lot of creators talk about sharing trans.
Gross? Gross? What is so gross about this? I don't understand. This is a parent who is supporting their child who is just changing their name legally. What is so gross about this? This isn't even related to trans, like, kids medically transitioning. This is just a form of social and personal transition of being able to identify with a name that you feel represents you. Like, but come on, man, you have to, like, what is the line? Is it literally that you have to be like day 1 of 18 before you say, hey, I don't want to be called Jacqueline, I want to be Jack? Like, is it that specific? Is it that strict? I don't get it. I don't understand. And just because you've had the experience that you had does not mean every other trans person needs to fit that mold. Not every other trans person needs to go down the exact same route that you did. Because not every trans person is a white person with a supportive parent who will guide them and allow them to express their gender nonconformity freely before being able to identify with transness and their trans identity. That's not something that exists for every person. You need to figure out what your line actually is. You have points that directly interfere with your own existence and with the existence of a lot of your peers who you openly endorse and support. And I'm talking specifically about people such as Blair White or other conservative trans people who still also agree with your trans medicalism, because we all know those are the only people you want to surround yourself with. Try to define where your line is, because it's so unclear and you just sound like a babbling old idiot. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you. Sorry, Buck. You're old and irrelevant. Get off of the internet, please.
Did you catch that? A lot of creators. So she's a transparent creator. Just right there, blew it. This is it. They're using their kids, okay, as clout. What he just said, okay? He just said it. It's the most insane, degenerate stuff going on here. And these parents are using their kids for clout, for influencing stuff. Oh, my God. And rewarding the kid. I didn't know if I should have gone and got him a present for getting a name change.
Joy, and I want to share the joy of being the parent of a trans person and getting to be part of just a really exciting moment for him. For us, it's exciting for me. I love it. I love the name he chose.
It's exciting for
just
me.
All of it's so cool. All of it's so cool. In the midst of all of this,
it's all about her. It's literally all about her.
She's literally talking about her own feelings in this moment. So of course she's going to be talking about how she feels and what her perspective is. She's not talking on her child's behalf. She's not speaking on her son's behalf and saying how he feels about this name change, because he's not there speaking for himself. And she's probably someone who values her child's voice and recognizes that, hey, I'm not going to speak for my child, but I'm going to tell you how I feel and how I try to support my kid. I'm going to share that with the world because I feel that it could be valuable information. I feel like it could be helpful and valuable to other parents who might be going through something similar with their child, who may not know how to support their kid, who may want to support their kid better, or who also support their children in the same ways but just want to see other parents doing the same. There are a lot of reasons why someone might make this kind of content, so just shush.
I'm just so excited. So, bye.
Yeah. So again, I have seen so many times that
This guy is so great.
here. Let's stop for a moment. Like, let's pretend for a moment that I'm mistaken, and this is a parody of something, which I'm pretty sure it's not.
It's not.
The fact that you could think that this is a parody of something that is actually happening, it is a problem in itself.
Yes.
Because parodies are, satire is like some kind of, like calling out on something. Okay, this is happening. We have to make fun of this. Yeah. Okay? And if this is a parody, it means that this is happening in real life. But I see her body language, and her body language is so genuine and Joy. It's not exaggerated. It's on point in the words and everything. And especially the part. I want to make especially emphasize.
Absolutely no point in this makes me feel like this has been satire or staged or fake. It's 100% genuine. Anyone with eyes and ears could know that. It's so obvious. This is just, like I said, a parent sharing her experience as she supports her child through this journey of affirming their identity.
And when she says the words, I know a lot of creators.
Bam.
She means that trans creators or trans parents, transparent sounds catchy. Transparent creators. I don't mean invisible, but parents of trans kids, which are completely insane. About sharing trans joy, and I want to share the joy of being the parent of a trans person.
Wow.
These people.
Do you see his frustration with it all? I feel you, friend. I'm with you, my friend, and I'm a transsexual, and I'm totally with you. He's totally busting the. He's just so great because he's really so showing how insane this. He caught exactly what I caught. The creator.
Okay, I want to be very clear that this man, Buck, is like, I don't know, some kind of super fan of this guy, Mr. Jesus Enrique Rosas. Jesus is like this guy's idol in some way. I don't know. He's an icon in Buck's mind. So he's giving him so much praise, but he keeps referring to him as some body language expert or analysis type of person, and yet he hasn't said anything aside from telling us that based on this woman's body language, what she's saying is genuine. How is that what he's just described as like debunking this woman's whole point and saying that it's all just fake? And where did that come from, Buck? What? No, neither of you are making sense. You're just praising a man for saying nonsense. He's saying nonsense. You're saying nonsense. It's all just a circus. It's just a clown show. And I don't understand what's going on.
These people should be in jail. And one of the questions in my program, by the way, remember that I have a master class for body language and manipulation and everything. The first question that you have to ask in any sort of video is who was behind the camera. And it's this obvious that she's holding the camera herself. She's recording this herself. She's proud of this. She's proud of her daughter, son, getting a new name tomorrow. And of course, most important, she absolutely has to record this.
Yes.
For the world to know about her joy.
Yes.
Which I would define more like posturing. Like, I can't wait until my friends look at this or say, oh, you are in this milestone.
Excellent.
Of your kid changing.
That's an interesting point, and I knew that this would come up, is the sort of like attention-seeking aspect of what they claim these parents are doing by sharing these stories online. Is the sort of like peacocking of your parenting and your ability to accept your child and sort of trying to show off to the other moms around the cul-de-sac or something along those lines. It's very, I'm not going to lie, stereotypical. If we really want to go down that route, it's a bit misogynistic to see a woman who is supporting her child and automatically think, oh, you're just a bored housewife or just a bored mom who wants to show off to the other moms that you're so great. I think it's very belittling, and it's very, again, very sexist, because that's not something that you hear about when men speak about their trans kids. We don't really even see people like Buck react to many men who are supportive of their trans children, although it definitely exists. There are many dads out there who do support their trans kids, but so often you see moms who are being criticized. Okay, it's the next day. I had to take a pause because last night we were having some really crazy storms over here. It was far too loud for me to even hear my own thoughts about how baffling Buck's behavior is. So I had to take a pause, and we are back today to finally complete this video and hopefully not look at Buck's face for at least one day, please. Just one day without Buck, please, 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 please.
I don't know if you know this, but that they were giving Lupron to, people are sending me so much information, you guys. They were using Lupron, okay, for autism, saying it could cure autism. So they were giving this Lupron to autistic young people, okay? And then, so here, the Dr. Geyers, I think his name is, okay? And they were using, Lupron was used to cure autism. No real consent from autistic kids, because kids can't consent. Caused infertility, development harm, and seen as abuse. Look, this is such a great chart. Now, instead, this is what they were using it before. Now, they're using it in gender clinics. Lupron, the same medicine they were using to cure autism, they are now using to affirm gender, questionably informed consent from autistic kids. A lot of the kids who say they're trans are autistic. Same risks, infertile bone loss, emotional impact, framed as progressive healthcare. Oh my God. This is just mind-blowing. I'll put a link to all these videos and all of this stuff in this is such a great Substack.
All right, so once again, I feel like I am sitting here with my actual grandpa and having to teach him how the internet works. So, Buck, let's do a Google search, shall we? Gotta do everything myself. Let's check in once again with the free source of Google.com. Lupron, a GnRH agonist, is sometimes used as a puberty blocker for individuals experiencing gender dysphoria, specifically transgender youth. It works by suppressing the release of luteinizing hormone. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that. Follicle stimulating hormone, FSH, which are essential for triggering puberty. By halting or delaying puberty, Lupron can provide a period of time for individuals to explore their gender identity and potentially make decisions about hormone therapy or other interventions. Sounds good so far, just your standard concept of a puberty blocker, whether that is used for a trans person or a cis person who needs to delay puberty for a medical reason. How Lupron works, let's find out, Buck, shall we? Puberty suppression. Lupron blocks the release of hormones that signal the start and progression of puberty, thus delaying or stopping the development of secondary sexual characteristics, i.e., a puberty blocker. Time for exploration. The use of puberty blockers allows transgender youth to pause puberty, giving them time to explore their gender identity and make informed decisions about future medical interventions. There we go, we get another free definition of what it means when we talk about a puberty blocker and what that does for a trans child. Really learning so much. I really hope you're taking notes, Buck. I promise you, we are going to have a quiz. Lupron is considered a reversible treatment. When stopped, pubertal development will resume. Pretty standard stuff, Buck. I don't really do... Where's the disconnect? Come on, man. Come on. There are side effects just with any medication, right? So I'm not going to shy away from them. And so, you know, Buck, you're not going to get me trying to say, oh, you don't want to talk about what happens, though. Let's talk about it, okay? Common side effects of Lupron may include hot flashes, fatigue, and mood changes. While considered reversible, long-term use of Lupron has been associated with decreased bone density, which is a concern for adolescents whose bones are still developing. Let's talk about the bone density thing, because it's talked about a lot in this video and by a lot of people who side with Buck. The issue of bone density changing in adolescents who are on puberty blockers. It's a big hot button topic, so let's talk about it. I think that it's obvious to see that it is a very common side effect that is listed with these medications. It is stated here not as a temporary but a long-term side effect, of course, because especially with prolonged use, the risks of bone density changing because of the treatment, it's more likely, right? Again, this is how medications work. There are side effects and you take them into consideration when prescribing them or when taking them. That's how meds work.
Hey besties! Leo forgot to do that thing that you're supposed to do, you know, when you like finish a video. So once again, I had nothing to end this video. It's a little scattered because we're both moving. Oh, the birds! Tweedle! It's scattered, we're both moving, but this is going to be the end of the Buck saga for a while. If you want some more, go check out our deep dive. Oh, let me end with a song from the deep dive, the real ones know. I think that Buck needs to look inside, very much driven by an old man's pride. He could be the Gramps that we all like. Come on, tramper Buck, Buck. Stop being a little shy. Don't forget to subscribe.